Okay, so it seems like it's been forever, but I think we had a Memorial Day last week. But guess what? We're back. Several people that passed. I think I posted one. I got two more to post. I didn't post. You know, when you get a holiday, it just threw you off. You start relaxing a little bit too much. But I'm glad we're back. Glad we're back, ready to get started. So let's start with any questions. So what questions do we have?
Well, go ahead. You go ahead.
I have y equal mx plus b.
Okay, what's your question?
Y equal 5x plus 3x.
5x plus 3x or 5x plus 3?
5x plus 3.
So again, very easy. Y equal mx plus b. So your slope, your y-intercept. Slope is 5, y-intercept is 3. If you get y equal, you should laugh all the way to the bank. But what happens is this is I saw this over the weekend, and this morning when I was marking papers, I saw this. Okay, this is not in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equal mx plus b. This is not in slope-intercept form, but you can easily change it to y-intercept form. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this first, the term with the variable, and then you're going to put this next. So this becomes y equal 7x minus 3. Then you can easily identify the slope of 7. The y-intercept is -3. Okay, so I did that on purpose. I don't want you remembering these concepts. I want you to know them. I want you to know if you get a linear equation that's not in slope-intercept form or not in standard form, can I change it to look like either standard form or slope-intercept form? I want to give you and put you through the fire before you take the exam. So when you take the exam, it's a cakewalk. That's the whole purpose. So don't get discouraged if you only got a 50 or 60. What I need you to do is take that 50 or 60, take the ones you got wrong, and focus on those questions till you know how to do them. Then move to your next practice test. So a lot of people are just taking practice test after practice test. No, the practice test is to find out what you need work on, and then you go that particular section, you work on that till you got it, then take that same practice test over. Got me? All right, so that was one question. What's the next
one? Okay, mine is about the graphs. The graphs with the word problems.
In Schoology?
Yeah, them too.
You know what question it was, so we can
No.
All right, give me the word problem. See if you can give me the word problem.
I didn't write it down. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even write it down, which is a mistake.
So I'm supposed to read your mind?
I might have an example, maybe what she's trying to say, Mr. Tinsley, because I ran into one of those problems. Now, this one is in Schoology for the linear equations test.
Okay, so let me go to that.
I wanted to say little Timmy was trying to compare gas mileage to the car he had previously to the brand new car that he has now, and it also has a chart. That confused. I didn't know what little Timmy was trying to do.
Well,
I think I seen that one.
So I purposely, what happened was, so on the GED practice exam, I saw when people send me their practice tests, I look at the questions that people miss the most, and one of them was comparing different sources. So this is why I specifically made this one. I know which one you're talking about. Let me see. Is it this one? You said Little Timmy. I don't remember which one I used.
Yeah, I couldn't think of his name. It's just he had
Here we go.
Oh, okay, you got it.
I think this one right here. Right?
Nope.
That's not it?
Nope. This one is where because I've seen this before, but no, this is where it's a chart, and they're trying to compare like his gas mileage from the previous car he had before to the new car that he has now.
And this is not the one here? Okay.
No, that's not it.
No, because this is all right. Let me try. Well, what I can do is I can do one of those because it's either. Let me see
I
if it's
found
this.
it in the quiz, your linear equations quiz.
I got a bunch of them. They all linear equations. All this is linear equations.
Okay.
All of them. Let's see. Let me see the word problems. It's crazy because I'll be sitting there one day and I just start making questions and put them in the quiz. Like,
All I remember is something about 19 something mileage. I don't know, but it's a chart.
It sounds familiar, but what I'll do is I'll just go over one so you can kind of see it. All right, so let me see. Let's look at this one.
Okay.
So when we look at this one, it says, let me preview it. Preview question. So it look a little better. Okay. Rocky Reynolds, a car rental company, charges an initial fee plus a constant fee per kilometer driven. The table compares the total distance driven on the trip in kilometers and the price of the rental in dollars, right? So if you notice, it's giving you a table that says, what is the cost of each kilometer driven? But what it also tells you is that it has an initial fee plus a constant fee for a kilometer driven. So if they want an equation, the first place you're going to start is y equal mx plus b. That's where you start because they want to know the equation of the line, right? Okay, so the second thing you want to know is, okay, well, b, which was my constant, that's not going to change. That's going to be the initial fee. So the initial fee is going to be b. What you charge per kilometer is going to be your m.
Okay.
Or be your slope. The second thing you got to realize is they gave you a table. And what you should realize from a table is that these are multiple points. It's just shown in a different way. So for example, if I drove 110 kilometers, it's going to cost $186. And I don't know if you drive 145 kilometers, it's going to cost you $207. So these are 3 points that will be on a graph, but it's given to you as a table. So the first thing you would have to do is you have to find the slope. Okay, so again, a table. This is going to be your
X.
independent variable. This is going to be your dependent variable. It means I have to drive first in order to get charged.
Right.
So there's several ways you can do it. You can do y2 minus y1. You can throw it in your calculator. So I'm going to do both. But when I'm given a table, I'm thinking this way. Change in y for the change in x.
Okay.
So how do I go from 186 to 207? I went up plus 21. I went up plus 21. So to go from 186 to 207, I got to go up 21.
Yeah.
Okay, change in y. Go from 110 to 145.
It's going to give you 35.
Plus 35. So this is my change in x. This is my change in y. Well, the formula says to get the slope, I go over change in y over change in x. So I'm going to do 21
over 35.
Over 35. Mr. Tenzi, what is that? Well, they're talking about money. That means it needs to be converted to a decimal. So you're going to grab your calculator, which 21. I don't even have open. Can somebody do that for me? 21 divided by 35, because my calculator is not open. Change that to a decimal.
It's 0.6.
0.6?
Yep. You said 21. That's what it is. 60.
Okay, well, right. 7 go into 21 3 times 7. Go into 35 5 times 3 over 5 is 0.6. So let me erase it first, because you said 0.6.
0.6.
You said 0.6, but what we realize is when we talk about money, right? You need 2 decimal places, so it's 0.60.
Yep.
So we know our slope. So we know how much the cost of each kilometer driven. We already know. We know that. They didn't ask it for, even though y equal mx plus b is 2 different things. It's the initial fee plus the constant fee. But they only asking us the cost of each kilometer driven, which is the slope. So it's 60 cents.
Okay.
And that's how you would do that problem. Now, if you wanted to find how much the initial fee is, again, you have the point and you have a slope. So again, so even though it's decimals and fractions, it's still the same concept. So y equal mx plus b. We're going to take a point. That's my x. That's my y. I hate these funky numbers, but we'll do it anyway. My y is 186. My slope is 0.6. My x is 110 plus b. Okay, so then I'm going to use my calculator. I'm going to multiply 0.6 times 110. So 0.1 would be 11 and 0.6 would be 66, I believe, right? See, that's that mental math. See how I did that? You see how I did? See how I did that mental math?
Yep.
Okay, this is why as you're doing work and you do mental math, you'll see that math becomes easier. Okay, so what I did was with the mental math is I know 10% of any number is I move the decimal one place to the left. So if I move the decimal one place to the left of 110, that's 11. So I just multiply that by 6 and I get 66. So 186 equals 66 plus b. Again, in order to get b by itself, I must get rid of that 66. The opposite of plus 166 is minus 66. You get 120 equal b. Right?
Okay.
So that initial cost is $120. So to pull that car rental out, they're going to charge you $120 plus 60 cents per kilometer. So your equation will be y equal 0.6x plus 120. Now, this question didn't ask for that, but you got to get in the habit. So now, okay, Mr. Tinsley, that was a lot of work, but what you have to do is you have to decide and understand what's given. First of all, understand what's given. If they asking for equation of the line right there, okay, what do I need to do? I know if I need the equation, I need the slope and I need the y-intercept. Oh, they gave me a table. Okay, so I need an x and y. So you got to walk yourself through the steps. Now, watch this. This is what I've been trying to tell you. You don't even have to do that. If you went through my ebook, you don't have to spend 5 minutes on this problem. That's how they want you to do it algebraically. Watch this. I'm going to do this problem in literally less than 30 seconds. Hold on, let me move it to, I might have to write the numbers down first because I can't see the numbers. So it's 110, 186, and 145, and 207. Because remember, what do you need? You need 2 points to figure out the slope, correct?
Right.
I got 2 points. So why am I going to waste my time doing all this work by hand when I can, let me adjust this so we can see it nice and clear, nice and big, because I need to show you this. That question that just took 5 minutes. Watch this. Watch this. Let me clear everything out. Watch this. Starting now.
Oh, wow.
Done.
Oh, yeah.
The slope is 0.6. The y-intercept is 120. But again, you have to have a conceptual understanding first. So you work on understanding how to do it by hand. Once you go by hand, you take that ebook, you take that calculator, and you learn how to do these problems with the calculator. So now, instead of you wasting 5 minutes, when you get to your exam, you've done this problem in 30 seconds. So if they ask you for the equation of the line or the slope from 2 points, you now know how to put it in your calculator and get the result back in 30 seconds. But you had to have a conceptual understanding of word problems. So that's why I give you so many word problems in school. As you practice. You may look at this question and say, oh my God, you may feel like your head is going to explode. You may really think like that, like, oh my God, what does he want? But the whole purpose is to prepare you that when you're taking your test, you won't be flustered at all. Oh, they're giving me a table. I got 2 points. Okay, how do I put those 2 points in the calculator and get my slope and y-intercept? Easy. And then So that way you won't be flustered. You won't get anxious. You won't make a mistake, because once you know how to do it, you just put the information into the calculator. And that's what I want you to understand. Listen, there's no secret to the exam. What I'm trying to give you is just ways you can do it faster and more accurately to do these problems. But first, you must have a good conceptual understanding of the problems. And it doesn't even matter what the problem is. Like when you look at these, this is why I put this on the test. Julia got a delivery. She took some time to get ready, and then she rode a bicycle at a constant speed. The table compares the distance Julia made in kilometers and the time she got the order in minutes. How long did it take Julia to ride 1 kilometer? Well, this is the clue right here. This is telling you unit rate. It's telling you unit rate, right? But what you notice is, in this case, 1 kilometer is also considered the slope, right? So you can't just do 40 divided by 5 is 8, right? Because it said she took time to get ready. So that's how you know you have a y-intercept or a constant. So again, you take your calculator, plug them right into your calculator, and get the slope, and you're done. Now, you could do 40 to 52. The change in y is 12. The change in x, 5 to 7 is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Done. So, can you do it with the calculator? Yes. Can you do it by hand? Yes. But you have to be familiar of when to use what. And this is why Schoology gives you so much practice. So when you see a problem that's similar, you won't be shaking at all, and you can do it in seconds. So that's, again, this is so if you look at us, you look under linear equations, right? And this is what you got to remember. Linear equations are going to be 7 to 10 problems on your exam. So this is why I invest so heavily. You got the slope from 2 points, slope of the line, slope from an equation, finding your slope of y-intercept, equation of a line, parallel and perpendicular problem, word problems 1, word problem 2, comparing different sources, and a linear equations and word problem set another one. So if you're going to spend time in an area, if a certain area, linear equations is 7 to 10 problems, that's almost 25% of your exam. So I would make sure I go down each one of these individually before I even start a practice exam and make sure I know these. So remember, how I set this up is, once you take a practice test, it's going to tell you what you know and what you don't know. So there's your linear equations. There's your first 5. There's your probability. There's your mean, mode, and median. There's your exponents, Pythagorean theorem. So then go to these individual sections, work on it till you understand the concept fully. Then come back to that same practice test, take it again. You should see an improvement by 10 to 20 points. Then you take it again. Why? For time. Just make sure, can I do each of these problems in less than 2 to 3 minutes? Because that'll also tell you, if you're spending more than 2 to 3 minutes on a problem, that may be something that's giving you difficulty. But that's the flag that's going to tell you when you're taking your test, you know what? Let me skip this problem and come back to it. Instead of me wasting 5 minutes, let me skip it. But there's circles, algebraic expressions, inequalities, quadratic equations. I put 2 quizzes here now because people were having problems with quadratic equations. I even have one now for functions. So when you take that practice test, whether it's the GED Ready or one of mine, use these individual quizzes then to focus on your weaknesses. There's no advantage. Keep taking practice tests and see what people get in the habit of. They're taking these practice tests and then they're remembering the answers and then they're taking them again. And then when they get a score, then they're taking a real test and they're not passing because they're remembering the answer and not having a conceptual understanding of the problem. So this is why I created all these for you to get as much practice as you want. So if you take your practice test and you saw that you have 2 or 3 problems in quadratic equations, that's your signal to you. You know what? Let me go to these quadratic equation problems. But guess what? You know, Mr. Tinsley, I got a 10 out of 100 on quadratic equations. I really don't understand it. I don't understand quadratic equations. So you know what you're going to do? You can go to the math lessons. I can't wait till Monday to see Mr. Tinsley. I'm going to go to the math lessons, and there's quadratic equations. And you know what? I didn't fully understand it, right? But watch this. I have an online textbook right there that will explain everything I need to know. Factoring when the leading coefficient equals 1, methods for solving quadratic functions, using the quadratic formula, evaluating quadratic functions. So you know what? Let me click there. Continue. And again, this is why it's important when you log into the course that you register or enroll in CK12 and Khan Academy, because this is an online textbook. Look at that. And it could go over each lesson. So you don't have to wait to see. And look at that. It's telling you everything. Remember I told you standard form of a quadratic equation, x squared plus bx plus c. Look at that. You got a video. It's telling you how to multiply binomials. It's telling you how to factor it. It's telling you find your factor pairs. But also what it has is when you finish, you got additional practice down here. So identify your weak areas, work on them. And then if you say, Mr. Tinsley, I still don't understand, send me that email, send me that text. Don't wait till the following week to get a full understanding. Contact me, let me know, and I'll help you through that problem. All right, so anyway, so let me clear the screen. Because I want each and every one of you to pass the exam. I don't know you, but I want each one of you. What's the next question people have problems with?
Inequalities.
Inequalities. All right. So, matter of fact, I could have just left that open and went right to a question. Let's go here. So I'm gonna go back to GED question 1, and this is what you would do. So if you want the math if you want to know how to do it, you would go on the math lesson. But a lot of times I can explain things much easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice problems. I'm gonna come down to inequalities. I'm gonna select the second one I just created not too long ago. I'm gonna click on inequalities, and quite a few people actually this week had problems. I saw them had one person that missed 3 questions on it. I'm gonna go to my preview. Let's just pick one. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go through it, and I'll pick one to see what's a good one. Let's see. Okay, let's do this. So a lot of people actually, I've seen 3 or 4 people get this question wrong. So again, so this is your thought process. Whatever it is in algebra, you're trying to get the variable by itself. Okay, so all right, so on that right side, you see what a variable is. It has 12 plus x as the numerator being divided by 4. Okay, so what you actually want to do is when you're trying to get x by itself, you kind of want to work backwards. So please excuse my dear ancestor, right? That's normally how we do the opposite order of operations. We kind of want to work backwards, right? So, but when you look at this, it said, but it's almost like this numerator is being divided by 4. So what you actually want to do here is, let me clear the screen, is, let me put it over here. I'm trying to get x by itself. But the first thing I need to get rid of is this 4. I can't get rid of this 12 first because this is like saying 12 divided by 4, oops, plus x divided by 4. Okay, when you have an entire side of the equation being divided by 4, it's almost like you can take each term and divide it by 4. Well, I don't want to break things up in fractions. That makes it more difficult. So I don't want to do that. So this is what I'm going to do. What's the opposite of dividing by 4?
Multiplying.
Multiplying by 4. Watch this. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. What's 4 divided by 4?
Is 1.
1. So they cancel each other out. What's 4 times minus 2?
4 times -8.
-8 is greater than 12 plus x. So again, you're asking yourself the same question. Is x by itself? No, it's not.
No.
What do I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of the 12. What's the opposite operation of 12?
You got minus it.
You got to subtract 12. So whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So again, this is knowing your sign numbers. So when I'm combining sign numbers, if they have the same sign, I'm adding them and keeping the sign. Greater than X, because your 12s cancel. This is where the GED, this is why I put this type of question on it. Sometimes when you have the X or have the variable on the right side, this is what you need to do. Switch it. So put the X on this side, put the minus 20 on this side. But then what you're going to do is you're going to switch this inequality. So your answer is X less than minus 20. Now, okay, watch this. That's one way. That's solving this algebraically. Watch this. A number greater than minus 20.
Okay.
So I'm going to say minus 10. A number greater than 20. I'm going to say 25.
Okay.
A number less than minus 20. I'm going to say minus 25. A number less than 20. I'm going to say 0. Mr. Tinsley, where did you get these numbers from? Did you just pull these out the air? No. Remember, inequality has more than one answer. So any number greater than minus 20, I could pick any number. I could have picked minus 19, minus 18, minus 16. But I picked a number that picked minus 10. But now I'm being divided by 4, right? But watch this. I'm going to show you something what you can do. Watch this. Minus 2 has to be greater than any result I get, right? So watch this. ND 12 plus X. So I'm going to use minus 10 plus a minus 10. I just substituted it in over 4. Is minus 2 greater than 1/2?
Well, you say is minus 2 greater than 1/2? No.
Is minus, no. So
No.
you know right there, your answer is not A. Because minus 2 has to be bigger than this computation right there. Well, we substituted that in. So we're going to do that for each one. So I'm going to go back up here. And I'm going to put plus 25. Right?
Right.
Is minus 2 greater than 37 over 4? You don't have to figure it out. Minus 2 cannot be greater than a positive number.
No.
So that's a no. Right? Let's go to the next one. Go back up here. We're going to change that minus 10 to minus 25.
That's going to be the answer.
Now, look at that. Is minus 2 greater than minus 13 over 4? Well, I don't even know what minus 13 over 4 is, do I? I don't know. Okay, use your calculator to change it to a mixed number or a decimal. You can change it to a decimal, right? I'm going to take that off, change it to a decimal. So is minus 2 greater than minus 3.25? Yes. Now, you didn't do any algebra. Do we still get the same answer? Yes. And again, this is another tip that I give you in the ebook because so many people have issues with inequalities. You can use the multiple choice answers to get the right answer. That's what we do in real life. But again, these are all small things that I go over in the ebook. But how do you know what to study? By taking that practice test. Let's do another one by hand. Oh, I hate that one. This is actually one on the GED exam. What I would tell you is if I seen one like this, I would tell you to skip it, flag it for review, come back to it after you finish. This is going to take you 5 minutes.
Wow.
It literally is going to take you 5 minutes because you got decimals, you got fractions, so if I was to do this problem, right? Let's actually do it.
Yeah, please.
Let's actually do it. Now, again, my advice would be to skip this problem, finish your exam,
go back to it,
and then come back to it. That would be my advice. So the first thing I'm going to do is I don't like fractions. I don't like fractions at all. Anybody tell you they like fractions, I don't know what to tell you. I don't like fractions and I love math. I hate fractions. So what I'm going to do right away is I'm going to change that 14 3/4 to a decimal. What is 14 3/4 as a decimal?
0.75.
14.75.
0.75. So I'm going to take that out and put my decimal. It's the first thing I would do. Order of operations tell we should do the distributive property. So
Okay,
minus 3 times 4x is minus 12x.
right.
Minus 3 times 8.2, a negative times a negative is a positive. So
Positive.
we get 24.6. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, that middle math, what I did was 3 times 8, which is
It's
24.
24.
3 times 0.2 is 0.6. So you get 24.6.
Yeah.
Less than minus 11.98x plus 14.75. Now, if you've been studying math to pass this GED exam, you know algebra is 55% of this exam. Your thought when you see an algebraic equation or inequality, you should be thinking, get the variable by itself. That's your whole goal. So the first thing I realized is I have the x on both sides. So I need to combine them first. So you know what? I'm going to add 11.98x because I want to move that whole term
Over on the other side.
on the other side. So whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So I get negative 0.02x. Now you could use a calculator, but I did mental math. Plus 24.6 is less than, they cancel, 14.75. Again, my whole goal was to get the x by itself. So my term with the x, I want to leave that alone. I want to leave that negative 0.02x alone right now. So I need to get rid of the what?
24.6.
24.6. The opposite of plus 24.6 is minus 24.6. Negative 0.02x. They cancel. Less than, what is 24.6 minus 14.75?
Mr. Timmy, could I ask you a question? So the 14.34, when you calculated it out, you get 14.75?
It's 9.85.
Negative 9.
So what you want to remember is, so that's a good question. So when I look at this, your whole number is going to stay the same. But you should know, this is why I have that part with your fractions, decimals, percents. You should know all your common fractions. You should know 1/4 is 0.25. So 3/4 is 3 times as big. I'm going to multiply 0.25 times 3. You should know 25 times 3 is 75. So 3/4 is 0.75. So 14 3/4 is 14.75. One of the things you should know in math, you should know all your common fractions. 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/8, 1/9, 1/10. You should know that from, like, if I tell you 1/9, you say 0.11, 1/10, 0.1, 1/8, 0.125. You should know them like the back of your hand. Why? Because then that's the mental math part that gives you more confidence when you're doing these problems. Or just use your calculator. Listen, listen. I can't tell you enough. Watch this. 14 3/4. Okay, this is one of my first lessons in the book. If you don't know how to do it, you don't need to know how to do it. Look at that. The calculator did it for me.
That's right.
That's why I tell you, spend 2 weeks in this ebook to show you how all the shortcuts. People, if you're in school right now and you're doing fractions, you're probably doing fractions for 3 to 4 weeks. Well, guess what? They're only going to ask you 2 questions that contain fractions among the first 5 that you can't use your calculator. Change a mixed number to a improper fraction, an improper fraction to a mixed number, or put decimals, fractions, percents in order. Otherwise, you can use the calculator for the rest of the test. Now, right there, I changed 14 3/4 to a decimal, 14.75. I didn't waste no time. I didn't do 1/4 times 3. I didn't do any of that. But learn how to use this calculator. So now let's continue on. I got 0.02x is less than minus 9.75. 9.85. In order to get X by itself, what do I need to do?
5.
Divide by what?
Where we at?
0.2.
Not 0.2.
Negative.
Negative
0.2.
0.02. Not
I'm
0.2.
Sorry.
Negative 0.02. Whatever we do on one side, we do on the other.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the GED is going to try to get you. When you're trying to isolate the variable, you're trying to get the variable by itself. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to change the inequality.
Mm-hmm.
So this becomes X. This changes to greater than. And then can somebody please tell, I forgot the negative sign. Can somebody please tell me what's 9.85, negative 9.85 divided by negative 0.02?
Negative what? 0.82?
Is that a
Hold on, Mr. Tinsley.
49.2.5?
You didn't use your calculator. How did you do that? Like, how did you do that, Mr. Tinsley? You didn't use it because watch this. 9.85 divided by negative 0.02. I already know that's a positive answer because two negatives make a positive. But guess what? I don't want to divide by 0.02. I don't know how to divide by 0.02. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a whole number. I'm going to move it 2 places. But whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top.
You want to divide by
So
2.
now this becomes 985 divided by 2. Now, I don't know what that is right off the hand. I mean, I could do it. For half of 900 is 450, half of 80 is 40, and then half of 5 is 2.5. I'm not going to add them up. But when I look at my answers, there's only 2 options. I know it's not 49. So I know my answer is X greater than 492.5. Now, listen to what I'm telling you. You have to pay attention to what I'm telling you. This problem took me 3 minutes, right? How long is it going to take you? To me, it's not worth spending 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes to solve this problem. It's not worth it. Flag it for review, skip it. Once you finish the exam, come back to this problem and then work on it. So what I would do, what my advice to you would be, is if you see this problem and you know this problem is going to take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes, pick A or D, flag it for review. Once you finish the exam, come back to all the questions that you flagged. To me, it's not worth you wasting 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes and then you not finish the exam. That's the biggest mistake people make because they spend too much time on one problem and then they don't get to the easier questions. Because right behind this question is going to be an easy question. Because remember, I told you, the level of difficulty changes. So if you go from a difficult question, you're going to come to an easy question next. That's important for you to know. So all the questions are worth the same amount of points. So an easy question is worth the same amount as a difficult question. They don't have a scale to say, okay, difficult problems worth 3 points, medium questions worth 2, easy worth 1. No, they all worth the same amount. Skip that difficult problem. I probably shouldn't be saying this on the record. I'm gonna have to edit that out. I might not. Probably shouldn't. But anyway, those difficult problems, don't waste your time. Flag it for review, skip it, wait till you finish your exam, then come back to it. That's a difficult problem. That's a difficult problem. Now, let's go to one where something like this. This is the type of question you can expect to see. Okay, so 84 is greater than, I got to use my distributive property, minus 7b. What's minus 7 times minus 9?
A positive 63.
Positive 63. Now, remember, same steps. I need to get the variable by itself. My variable's on the right side. I have 2 terms on the right side. One contains the variable, one does not. So let me get rid of the term that does not have the variable, which is what?
63.
What's the opposite of plus 63?
Minus 63.
Minus 63. Whatever I do on one side of the equation, I
gotta
must do
do
on the,
Other side, yeah.
what's 84 minus 63?
21.
Greater than minus 7b. Is my variable by itself?
No, you gotta divide.
Why do I divide?
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Why? No, why do I divide?
Because you gotta get the variable by itself.
But why why didn't I add
Oh.
plus 7?
Wow, no. Because you have to divide it.
Why?
Because you divide to get the variable by itself, you divide 7 and
No, I understand. You're telling me what
okay.
to do, but
All
why
right,
am I doing it?
I'm so, okay.
I don't know. I just don't know. I would have just no, I don't know.
So this
Why
is
are you
why.
doing it?
Right
Okay.
now, minus 7b means minus 7 times b.
Yes,
The
okay.
inverse operation, or the opposite of multiplying, is divide.
Yes.
So that's why you divide. So I'm divide by minus 7.
Oh, you want okay, yep.
Whatever I do to one side, I do on the other. So this is what I
Mhm.
mean by conceptual understanding. You got to understand why you're doing it, because this is what I saw somebody do the
Yeah,
other day.
okay.
They had 21 minus 7b. Oops.
Mm-mm.
This is what I saw the other day. Greater than minus 7b. The person put plus 7b. Well, what is plus 7b doing? All you're going to do, whatever you do on one side, is going to change it. Be 7b plus 21 is greater than 0. They ain't going to solve your inequality.
You gotta do
Remember,
the
your ultimate goal is you're trying to get the variable by itself. So as each step of the way, you're asking yourself, what do I do next to get the variable by itself? So I divided by negative 7. These cancel, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. A positive and a negative make a negative.
Negative 3, yeah.
But this, again, this is the key point that many people miss. I think Daryl asked this question. When I'm dividing by minus 7, if I'm trying to get the variable by itself and I multiply or divide by a negative, I must switch
You gotta switch the
the
sign, yeah.
inequality.
Yeah,
So
you
the
gotta
greater
switch it.
than becomes
It's
less than,
less than, yeah.
and then you bring your b in.
Then you
Hold
still
on.
gotta switch it.
Then you got to switch it again. So my b is going to come on this side. My negative 3 is going to come on this side, and it switches again to greater than.
Yep. Right back. It's a lot of switching.
Now, okay, that's algebraically.
Mm-hmm.
That's algebraically. Watch this. That's algebraically. Now let's do common sense. A number less than 0, less than 3. I'm gonna use 0. A number greater than minus 2. Well, let's do minus 2. A number greater than 3, 5. A number less than minus 3, minus 5. Watch this. 84 is greater than minus 7 times. 0 minus 9 is minus 9. 84 greater than 63. Is that true?
Yeah.
I'm done. Same answer.
Yep. Yeah, 84 is greater than 63.
I ain't do all that algebra work.
No, you did
I'm
not.
done. I'm finished. Again, and this is what conceptual understanding means. Understand what equality means. Whatever number I put there, 84 has to be greater than a number. But I can put each one of these. So a number less than 3, 0. Why did I pick 0? Because I know anything plus or minus 0 is that same number. So I can easily do mental math. Minus 7 times minus 9 is a positive 63. So I didn't even do all that algebra work and still got the same exact answer. All right. So we did inequalities. What else? What's next? What's next? What's next?
Okay,
I had a question.
Yes.
The same way, like the last question, not this question you just did, the last question, the inequality. Can you do that on a calculator too as well?
Yes, but yes, you can. It's a little bit more difficult, but can you do it on the calculator? Yes. So this is what I would do. Again, a number greater than 49.50, number less than 492, 400. Number a number greater than 492, 500. I'm not using 493. I'm gonna use a nice solid number. A number less than 49.25. I don't know. I can pick 0. Right? But the problem is here, this has got X's on both sides. So what you could do is, This is a little bit more difficult, right? But watch this. I'm only going to do what I know the answers is, but watch this, right? Watch this. I'm going to show you something on the calculator. Watch this. Make this bigger here. Now, I haven't really shown this in GED Math Monday because this is something you got to practice using the ebook. But watch this. I can hit table, right? And I'm going to do this first part first. Minus 3 times 4x minus 8.2. Only did the first part of that, right? Ask x. So that means I'm going to put the variable I want in there. And I'm going to do all of them since you asked me, right? Watch this. I'm going to do 50. I'll do the first 3. I could do all 4 of them, but I'm going to do the first 50, 400, 500. Oops, 500. Right? So I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to write each of those answers there. Because this answer, minus 575.4, minus 4,075.4, minus 5975.4 must be less than the next number I'm going to put in. Watch this. So I'm going to do the same exact thing, but I'm not going to put this first part. I'm going to put the second part. Minus 11.98x plus 14.75. Now, since I already put those 3 variables in, it makes it much easier because now, watch this. Let me change the red. You asked, can I do it with the calculator? I want to show you. So this number is minus 584.25. Is 575 less than minus 584? No.
No.
Boom. What's the next one? Minus 4. I only really got to look at the whole numbers. Is minus 4775 less than minus 47? No. Let's go to the third one. Minus 5975.25 is negative 5,975.4 because they both have the same whole number. So I got to look at these variables. Is that less than negative 0.25? Yes.
No. Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yes. Remember,
yes,
the
is.
more negative is less than.
Yeah.
Now, did I do all algebra? No.
No.
But that comes with practice, though. That
was a lot. Like you said, that's still a lot of work with the calculator too.
Yeah.
It was.
But it's just, and this is why. Listen, this is why. If you see a problem like that, I'll skip that. I pick A or D, skip it. Listen, it's not worth the 5 to 6. It's not worth you not answering 3 to 4 or 5 questions. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. If I see something that difficult, you know what, I need you to hear me in your ear when you're taking this exam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's taking 4 to 5 minutes. I'm skipping.
Mr. Tinley, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you divide by 2 negative, do you still switch the sign?
What do you mean switch by 2 negatives? So
because you have negative.
So if I had minus, I'm just gonna make a small one.
No.
Minus 8 less than minus 2n.
Uh-huh.
Right? So first of all, when I divide by negative 2, right, you can get 4. Because you divided by negative, you got to switch that inequality. That becomes greater than n.
Now I was thinking that
because the n is on the right side, you have to switch it again. There's 2 reasons why you switch an inequality. If you multiplying or dividing by negative, or if your variable is on the right side. In this case, both exist. You got to divide by negative and your variables on the right side. So you got to switch the inequality twice. I can guarantee you almost every inequality on the GED, you got to do one of the switches. You're going to have to switch either one or both. I can almost guarantee. If you took the practice test or you took the real test and you did inequality, you had to reverse that sign. Because that's what they want to see if you know it. They're not going to give you an inequality like, let's see, a basic one. They're not going to give you that. Where you subtract 6, 2x is greater than 16, divide by 2, x greater than 8. They're not going to give you that. I can almost guarantee. They almost always have the variable being multiplied or divided by a negative or your variable on the right side. I guarantee. All right, what's next? So we did inequalities. We did a bunch of stuff. What's next? What's next? We are on a roll. But again, all these things are in Schoology for you to practice, all of it. And remember, see, first of all, you got to reprogram your brain. In school, they told you 70 is passing, 80 is good, 90 is excellent. Well, on the GED, you only need 55 to 58%. So if you consistently scoring 60, 70, 80, and you have a good understanding of the concept, what I would suggest is score 80 or above, move on to the next part. Move on to the next concept. Then I wouldn't move on unless I have an 80 or above in each one. So if you go under math lessons, each lesson has a pretest to see what you know and you don't know. Okay, what's next? What's next?
Or you can do something with slope.
What you want me to do with slope?
Slope, rise over run.
So slope from a graph.
Slope from a graph.
I did slopes from graph. I did a brand new slope from a graph. Where did I put it? I did a brand new slope. I must have I must didn't upload them yet. So let's do slope, find a slope of the line. Let's see. Now, are they going to ask you directly slope from a graph? They might give you the equations, right? Let's see. Right?
Yeah.
So when you look at something like this, let me make this bigger. So you don't see any numbers, right? They give you a graph, okay? You should be thinking rise over run.
Mhm.
If you're thinking rise over run, you should know rise is up or down, okay? So when I start from one of my points, I got to go up or down to get to the next one. So watch this. 1, 2.
You're going up, yeah,
So that's a +2.
yes.
My
Uh-oh,
run is horizontal,
yeah.
left to the right.
1,
So
2, 3.
need the arrow. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So
2
my
over
slope of
3.
this line is 2/3. Okay, you don't know what the y-intercept here is, right? Because you can't see what that number is. So you'd actually have to, they're not going to ask you right here because we don't know what that y-intercept is. Is that 1.7? Is it 1.75? But if you needed to find it, you would say, okay, well, this point is -1, 1. This
Yeah,
point is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is
yeah.
2, 3. And then you use your slope and your point to get your y-intercept. It's going to come out to a decimal right now, so we're not going to worry about it. But these are the steps you got to go through. So if they ask you any questions, you're prepared for it. But that's easy. What's next? What's next? Brian, are you new this evening? I don't remember seeing a Brian. Are you new?
Yes, I am. I'm
So
sorry.
do you have any questions do you have any questions on something you've been working on that's been giving you trouble that I can help you with tonight?
Not really, no.
Not
I'm
really?
just picking up on everything you guys are talking about.
Okay, good. All right, so any other questions? It's almost 7. So let's get one more
Listen,
question in.
Can you show me how to get into your lessons, like the math lessons, so I know I'm signed up for your Schoology too.
Okay, so what you're going to do is when you come into GED section 1, you're going to see introduction, all this stuff. So here go math lessons right here. Hit that right
okay.
arrow. Math basics, decimals, fraction, ratio, proportion. No matter what you sign into, say if it was a ratio and proportion, you should see a pretest. It's
Okay, just take the pretest.
And now if you score 70 or above, move on to the next one. Now, if you want to, improve that score, you can. But I would think a 70 or 80 is enough to go on to the next section. You know enough to move on to the next section, right? So these are the lessons to give you a pretest. That's if you don't know a concept. But if you want to practice, you can directly go to practice tests and additional practice problems.
Okay.
So you got your pre-G pretest, you got your practice GED exams. If you notice, I added a bunch I now have 13 practice exams for the GED.
Oh, wow.
I've been adding them. Fractions, decimal percents, ratio proportions, linear equations, post-tests. This is algebra. Specific tests, sign numbers, area and perimeter, probability. Each one of these questions are the types of questions the GED may ask you. I didn't, like, for example, you might be in class and your teacher give you a worksheet and they questions all over the place, right?
Yeah.
I try to select questions that over the last 8 years since I've been doing this to get you ready. Listen, I have taught other teachers how to teach math. I have given professional development of how to do questions, how to use the calculator. I've given professional development for GED. So listen, I can't tell you what everybody else is doing. But what I would do is I would go ahead and take a GED ready test on their site. Once I take a practice test, I can identify the areas I need work. Then I would go to my ebook. I would go through the conceptual understanding and learning how to use the calculator on the sections you need the most help on. Then I would use Schoology to practice, practice, practice. If you do that, you don't have to do every single lesson in the ebook. Now, I would, me personally, I would, that's why I made it for you to go through all the lessons. But sometimes you got a time frame in mind. Sometimes it's only a few areas you need to work on. Because right now, if you use the ebook, I can show you how to find the equation of a line from 2 points in 30 seconds. So you practice on those areas that the GED Ready said you have issues with. And then you practice, now I got 13 practice exams. I can tell you right now, if you consistently scoring over like 60 on my practice exams, you can go and take the GED and pass. Mine are harder than the GED. If you score 60, you can go in the GED and take it and pass it.
Then I have to start taking your practice exam because I have the exam coming up the 28th of this month.
Listen. This is what I'm telling you. And I say this because you're new. I can say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since 2015, everybody that I've seen give a good effort, that 30 days studying math, I'm 100% for the last 8 years. Everybody who's taken the math exam have passed. Every single person. I wouldn't sit here and lie to you. Every single person. Matter of fact, I had a person today, got an email today from another person, and then yesterday somebody else sent me an email. And she never came to class. All she did was do the ebook and do the practice test on Schoology. That's all she did. And she passed the exam. And she been trying for 4 years. Give me, listen, I'm so confident, right, that you're going to pass the exam, that if you bought my ebook and you don't pass the exam and you gave a full effort for that 30 days, and you said, Mr. Tinsley, you know what, I failed the test, I don't like you no more, I'm never coming to class, I will send you your money back. That's how confident I am. I will give you your money back. Matter of fact, remind me next week. I'm gonna spin the wheel with everybody who's in. I'm gonna pay for somebody exam next week. So remind me to spin the wheel next week. I haven't done it in a while. Any final questions before we leave this evening?
Now, where did you say you could take that the practice GED on?
On Schoology or on GED.com?
I think it's on school. I mean,
on Schoology, you're gonna go. Let me show you.
Yeah.
You're gonna go to the section that says practice tests and additional practice problems.
Okay.
Hit that down arrow to expand it, and you'll see practice GED exams.
Okay.
And you have 13 now.
Okay.
Some are like practice tests where it's like a half an exam, but you'll see where it says full.
Yes. Those
are over 35 questions. Anything that's full is like a real GED exam, and I want you to treat it like a full GED exam. I want you to have your calculator, your formula sheet, and I want you to take it. So for example, so let me just say this. So say you take a practice exam. I'm just gonna pick on, I don't know, 6, right? This is like the real exam. What I want you to do is use it like you're really taking the GED. So when you start the exam and you go over a problem, again, a lot of advantages or a lot of the things that the GED has
Right.
the practice test. What I mean by that is, if it ever loads up, trying to talk, load up. Okay, factor this quadratic equation. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, okay, -4. -4 times -1 is positive, can't be A. Right? -1, -4, -4 plus 1, it could be the rest of them. Now, instead of me trying to factor this quadratic equation, I'm going to multiply binomials. I don't have to go any further. My middle term needs to be 11x. It's not that. I got a -12x. It's not that. I already know my answer. Bam, I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my answer. Right? I know how to do that problem. Next question.
1 of 55. Okay,
Watch
you got
this.
55 questions on that.
You got 2 hours and 10 minutes. Now watch this. I got a table. If you're using the ebook, I showed you how to put those 2 in your calculator. You've done it in 15 seconds. But you know what? I don't remember how to do this problem. So you know what? I know what Mr. Tinsley told me to do. Pick A or D, flag it for review, go to the next question. You can flag for review even in Schoology. This expression represents 12 less than the product of 8 and H. I know product means multiplication, so I know 8H, 12 less than -12, boom. But guess what? I'm not 100% sure, so let me eliminate some of these answers. I know it's not -8H, so I got rid of the first 2. Now I'm down to 50%. Now, boom. I'm not 100% sure, so let me flag that one for review. I answered it, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's go to the next question.
But that is the answer.
And this is I know that's the answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's the same thing again. But these are the things you're gonna do. This is my equation. I'm looking for a parallel line, so I know anything parallel must have the same slope. My slope of this equation is -1/6. Look at that. That's an easy question now. I know how to do that. I'm done. Next question. You take this like you're taking the real exam.
All right.
Look at that, perpendicular. So I know the slope of this line is 1/4. So the slope of the perpendicular is the negative inverse. Change the sign and flip. So I'm looking for an equation that starts with negative. The slope is -4. So I know it's not that. It could be A, it could be B, it could be C. So I go to the next step. If only one of those equations had -4x, I will be done. But I'm not. So y equal mx plus b. That's my x, that's my y. So 6 equal -4 times -2 plus b. 6 equal 8 plus b. Subtract 8 from both sides. B is -2. My slope is -4. My y-intercept is -2. That's my answer.
Yeah.
If you are not doing that, stepping through that problem like that, that means you need to practice on my section of linear equations for parallel and perpendicular. When you can do that question in less than a minute, look at this one. What is the equation of the line? Listen, m equal rise over run. I know my y-intercept is -1. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Yeah.
Over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
That can be reduced to 2/3. My equation is y equal 2/3 x minus 1. If you can't do if you can't do this question within 1 to 2 minutes, that means you need to practice more. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm not 100% sure. So the slope was, I said 2/3. I think the y-intercept was -1. And the equation of the line is y equal minus 2/3 x minus 1. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I got it. I'm going to flag it just in case. So now, that's all I'm going to do right now. When you finish,
You go back.
it will come here. You was able to see of all the ones that you either didn't attempt, that you left blank, but you can also see all the ones you flagged, and you can come back to it.
Okay.
Just like the real exam. So use these practice exams that don't cost you a dime.
I didn't even see this. I would have been on this. I didn't see this. Okay.
Don't cost you a dime. So do you have to take all 13 practice tests? No. You take 2 or 3. If you score 40, 50, you work on that test until you improve to 70 or 80. Then you move to the next one. What you realize is by working on your problems from the first GD, when you get to your second GD, now you're going to have a 70. Now you're going to fix those problems and you're up to an 80. Then you take your third one and you're going to have an 80 on that third one. And you're going to say, Mr. Tinsley, I'm ready for my one-on-one because I'm scheduling my exam. And then you're going to go take your exam and you're going to pass. Simple. Cakewalk. I'm giving you the formula to pass the exam.
Yes, you are.
All right. So 7:09. It was an incredible night tonight. I had 3 more people pass this week. I know I didn't post the congratulations. I will either do it tonight or tomorrow. Had 3 more people pass. But guess what? You're next. Put in that hard work. Go through that ebook. Give me about half an hour to an hour every day practice. I should see your name popping up. I can tell you who's ready to take an exam. All I got to do is look at the people practice on Schoology. And I know they're getting ready because I see their scores, 40, 55, 60, 75. Then second test, 65, 72, 80. Third test, 80. Call me, set your one-on-one. Mr. Tinsley, I passed.
I hear you.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful night.
You
Remember,
too.
you don't have to wait till next Monday if you have a question on something. You can email me, you can text me, you can call me.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would be